Well, hey everyone, welcome to Community Group. I'm so glad you made it. I'm Pastor Ranjo and I have a couple questions to help get your discussion going, so let's jump right in. So, this week we continued in our series called Wild World and we learned about the camel's back. It's the worst part of the roller coaster. It's the part that takes you up and then just plunges you down into doom. And in life, we want a straight line, right? We want smooth sailing. We want to study and work hard and get a job and have a family and make lots of money, retire, travel the world. And even if your life looks like that, there will be times where you will be plunged into crisis. You will hit a camel's back. And so how do we deal with that? We continued in our story, or reading our story of Abraham, and we looked at 2 points in his life where he was hit with crisis and saw how he dealt with it. The first time is when Canaan gets hit with a famine. He has to move. So he takes his whole family to Egypt. And apparently his wife Sarah was an incredibly beautiful lady, and he was sure that Pharaoh would probably try to kill him so he could take his wife. And so he pretends to be Sarah's brother and actually sells Sarah into Pharaoh's harem. Well, this obviously does not end well. There's a disease that runs through Pharaoh's house. He realizes it's because of the sin that he's done, and he gives Sarah back to Abraham, kicks them all out. But beyond just somehow they made it out of that situation alive. But beyond that, the repercussions were deep. Their family was probably wounded in a deep way. It was a horrible example for his son-in-law Lot. It was probably something that brought division between him and Sarah. I can't imagine family meals after that. But anyway, so that was the first crisis. They somehow make it through that, and a little while later, there's a second crisis. Lot gets captured. And a number of cities come together and capture Sodom where Lot is living, and they take all the people and everything and begin to leave. Abraham hears about this, and he has a smaller, much smaller army, and he's faced with another crisis where he has to decide, do I go after Lot or do I preserve my own life? It's his responsibility to go after Lot as the head of the house. It's his responsibility to try to protect him, but he could have decided to wait and try to protect his own life and protect God's promise of his son. There's no way of having a son and then a nation if you're dead, right? And so he chooses to fulfill his responsibility. He chooses to do what is right. He goes after Lot and not only saves Lot, but saves all the people of Sodom, brings them back. And that brought us to the main point, Pastor Jason's main point for this Sunday, which was hold on to your life and make a mess, or let go of our life and make progress. I'm going to say that again. Hold on to your life and make a mess, or let go of our life and make progress. Basically, when we in crisis try to hold on tight and try to fix it ourselves, we make messes. But if we let go and let God work in the situation and are faithful to Him and just follow His leading, well, then we make progress. So I've got 3 questions to help guide your time. The first is the fun question. Um, when was the first time you got busted in terms of driving? So it's the first time you got pulled over, the first time you got a ticket or got in a wreck. Basically, the first time you got in trouble driving. Go ahead and share some stories, have some fun. The second question relates to the first moment of crisis in Abraham's life. Can you relate to that situation? Have you ever done the wrong thing for the right reason? Maybe you did something that you knew was wrong because it would ultimately protect good or ultimately help someone out. How did that turn out for you? How did that make you feel? Go ahead and take some time and share some of those stories and share the outcomes. Finally, your challenge on Sunday was to, on your Connect card, on the little card that you had, list 3 things that you know God was calling you to let go of. And maybe you were convicted of that on Sunday, or maybe even as the week went on, you were convicted of things God is calling you to let go of. Would you share the number one thing the one thing that you know God is asking you to let go of. Share that with the group, and then let that question lead into a time of prayer for each other. If you're running late, it's okay to break up into groups of 2 or 3, but if you have time, make sure that everyone gets to share and then pray for each other. Hope you have a great evening. God bless.